thought I'd give you another view of the dorm with the Romans 12 message. And then here's the empty parking lot. We really want to see this parking lot full of student cars. And then there's the stadium. Don't know when we'll be able to be back to having sports, but hopefully it won't be too long. I'm going to cross this stadium, or this parking lot now, and go towards the baseball field, and I'm going to take you to one of my very favorite places on campus. We have a patch of native prairie, so that's where we're heading. Here we are in front of the baseball field, and I just had to film some of these trees because it's just so fun to see the leaves coming back on these trees. So these are cottonwoods, and this one over here that's a little bit lighter, that's a willow. Just coming back, very exciting. Here we are next to the baseball field. Here's the baseball field, green grass out there. Very exciting. It's definitely spring. And we're gonna go out around behind the baseball field, behind that center field fence. So here we are, here's the center field fence behind the baseball park, and it's breezy, so we might be getting a lot of wind noise, and I apologize for that. So this is a little patch of native prairie that we think has probably never been plowed, and it might not look like much, might just look like a bunch of weeds, and it is kind of weedy. There's definitely some non-native grass called brome, which is everywhere in Minnesota, but there are also several species of native prairie plants. So I'm going to walk around and see if I can find anything in flower that I can show you. Here is a stalk from a goldenrod. So from last year's goldenrod, last fall, this would have been nice and gold. And but what I wanted to show you on this stalk is this kind of round swelling in this stalk. This is called a gall, and this is the home of a little larva, some sort of a larva. So some sort of an insect laid its egg on this stalk, and then that egg secreted some hormones or some chemical messages and stimulated the plant to grow this big house for the larva inside. And it looks like, do you see that there's a hole in it here? Kind of right where my thumb is. And that is probably where the larva came out. And so there's probably not a larva in here anymore. It probably emerged and flew away. But this is very similar to the process of the bacteria stimulating the house to build, or stimulating the plant to build a house for them in the roots, in the root nodules. This is not considered to be a mutualistic relationship in this case because it actually probably damages the plant, but it's probably more of a parasitic arrangement. Here's another one of those galls on a goldenrod stalk that is still intact. So you can see it right here. Maybe my phone will zoom in on it. There we go. There's a little bit of focus. So that's a gall. Some sort of insect inside. Well, this might not be very exciting or dramatic, but we do have some grasses here that seem to be flowering. These might not be grasses. They might be some sort of a sedge or a rush, but they are definitely the flowers of grasses and sedges and rushes are all very small. So I'm gonna have to try to look this one up later and see if I can figure out what it is. Well, I didn't find too much exciting in the prairie, but I can show you the leftovers of some tall grasses from last summer. So here's one, and you can see it's pretty tall. It's not quite as tall as I am. Let's see. It's probably not going to do it, but maybe you can see it here next to my face. Let's try this way. Here's that plant, and so this is one of the native tallgrass prairies, or one of the native tall grasses, and this one is just about as tall as I am. And this is what's left from last year, so it would have been, its flowering stalk would have been a little bit taller. So this is, I think, probably a big blue stem, or what's left of one from last year. So next fall, when you come up here, when you come out here like in August or September, you'll see some really tall grasses. And if they have kind of a 3-branched flowering stalk at the top, that would be big blue stem. It's named after, or sometimes people call it turkey foot, because it's got that 3-pronged inflorescence that kind of looks like a foot of a turkey.